The barrier to entry for new businesses in New York is considerably higher than most other states. Existing businesses continue to struggle with being competitive across state lines. This is due to the growing costs of burdensome regulations such as increasing workers' compensation costs, employee benefits, forced wage increases, and higher taxes, to name a few. As Senator, what steps will you take to help relieve the burden of the rising costs of doing business in New York?
Yes, thank you, Frank. And as you know, when we had spoken about the minimum wage, we had business owners come in because there is a disparity between New York City and upstate New York. And because we were able to talk about that, and I'll give an example, like Adams Fairacre Farms has 1,000 employees. The minimum wage in Pennsylvania is $7.50. So at over $9 an hour, we're already in direct competition with them. So we need to make New York more affordable, and one of the things that we did that's a major win for us is we lowered the middle class tax rate to the lowest level in 70 years. That's going to lower the taxes by 20%. Because when people look to come to our area, that's what they look at. They look at their taxes and they look at the energy cost. We've also have kept spending in check. For the past 2 years in a row, we've kept the spending under the tax cap. Both years. Full funding of STAR and Enhanced STAR, which is so important. Our infrastructure improvements, $27.1 billion invested in roads and bridges, and that's because we fought to have parity with New York City. So we'd get our fair share. Wastewater infrastructure money, that's so important, especially with all of the problems that we've had with the water throughout our communities. Hoosick Falls comes to mind right away. Educated and skilled workforce, unprecedented education funding this year, very proud to say, and higher education support too for our young people. And greater access to technology with broadband throughout the state. We're able to provide money for that. When people look to come here, they look for safe streets, a clean environment, and a good healthcare system. And I have to say, we have one of the best healthcare systems in the area, so thank you.
Thank you for that question. I think that one of the best things that we could do to help make it more affordable to do business here in this state is really get serious about changing the way that we fund our public education system. Our system right now relies heavily on property owners. Many of those property owners are small businesses, large businesses, that pay really more than they should have to into our public school system because, again, we are relying almost exclusively on our property tax system to fund our public schools. This is something that most states don't do. A lot of the states where it's more affordable to do business rely on their general income tax revenue fund to fund public education. And they do it well. They make sure that every school gets what they need to provide a proper education. It takes the responsibility off the backs of the small businesses. It takes the responsibility off the backs of the homeowners. It makes it more affordable not only to do business in the state, but it makes it more affordable to live in the state. And it helps improve the quality of our public education, which is one of the best things that you can do to make sure that you're building a stronger economy. Because you want the next generation to get the education and skills that they need to go out and be independent, creative business owners themselves. And as long as we stick to this antiquated property tax system, it's never going to change. And this is a very important issue that I am so incredibly committed to. And again, I hate to sound like a broken horse, but it will require us to raise taxes on the wealthy millionaires and billionaires in New York City. That's the only way that we can change the system. There's no reason that we here in the Hudson Valley should have to be paying more than our fair share when we have an enormous resource right down the river that is not doing anything to help us. So that's what I hope that we can do, and I look forward to leading the way.